Want to watch football without the restrictions of blackouts or cable? Check out expressvpn.com to help you get access to all the live games. Sign up today using the link in the description to get 3 free months. Kyoto Bolt fam, it's the director. Chargers fans, I want you to raise your hand if you're already going crazy waiting for football season to start. You know what? It's still only April. This is absolutely nuts, man. But you know what? We don't have long to wait, I should say, as the NFL draft is only a couple of weeks away. Wow, dudes, that's really creeping up, isn't it? Just over 2 weeks away, the Chargers will be deciding who they want to draft at pick number 21, in which the options are pretty limitless. I think there's so many things that the Chargers could do with that pick. It's left a lot of us saying to ourselves, what's going to happen? What's the top priority for the Chargers? Do they want that running back to success, in Austin Eckler? Do they want that tight end to pair with Justin Herbert? Do they want to go someone on defense, especially with such an edge-heavy class? Well, I feel like on this channel, at least, I put out a lot of mock drafts. You guys get to kind of react, and we start discussions and conversations about what we think the Chargers should be doing. But in today's video, I want to do something a little bit different. I want to react to some of the mock drafts that are being thrown out there on the web, because I want to see what the playing field kind of looks like, at least in the perspective of other people in the NFL, right? Of course, I'm just a YouTuber. It would really be nice to kind of get some insight from some of these beat writers, some of these professionals, and what they think is going to happen, especially in the first round. That's really what's piqued my interest. There's a couple of these in here that we're going to look at that are beyond the first round for sure, but I kind of wanted to react to some of those mock drafts that we're seeing out there so you guys can see, what my thoughts would be. Like, let's say one of these actually comes true. Well, you kind of get a first, look at, would I be disappointed? Would I want to do that? Would I have done something else? What's kind of the feeling around that? So we're going to be reacting to some mock drafts that I pulled off the web today. Haven't seen them yet. Should be a good time. You guys can react in the comment section below with me, and we'll see, with all the possibilities out there, if us as a Bolt fam have a good shot at being very excited, especially coming out of the first round of the draft, coming up here again in a couple of weeks. So before we do get started, guys, shout out to the sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. I've been seeing you guys out there signing up, man. Hey guys, first off, thank you so much. It really does help the channel quite a bit when you engage with the sponsors that help keep this channel going and have some fun along the way, man. Underdog Fantasy, by far and away my favorite fantasy platform on the web. Use code director to match your first deposit up to $100. Get in on that basketball. Baseball, I know, is getting pretty hot right now too. You guys definitely have some fun out there throwing me those picks. So let's go out there and have some fun. And also, guys, we do have that giveaway that should be wrapping up here in the next couple of weeks if you want in on it. If you were unaware, we're giving away this signed Asante Samuel Jr. jersey to one of my lucky subscribers. All you got to do to enter for this is hit up the link in the description, follow the instructions there, and make sure you are subscribed. Only subs can win. But of course, we do giveaways and twos around here. We're also giving away this signed Sean Merriman Lights Out jersey to one of my crew members. All you got to do to enter for this is be a crew member, and that is it. Good luck to everybody out there. And with that, let's get into this one. Before we do, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this Chargers content. Small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this mock draft reaction video. Oh, let's hope this one's not too painful. Lights, camera, action. The director reacts to mock drafts all over the web. Let's see what these outsiders think that my Los Angeles Chargers should be doing in this upcoming NFL draft. Why are my hands so red? Oh, I know why they're so red. I went out there with chalk drawing with my son. So if you guys are wondering, no, nothing horrible is happening to the director's skin. This is chalk. Let's get into our first mock draft, all right? This one's coming in from NFL.com via Rhett Lewis 2023 mock draft 1.0. Bijan Robinson cracks top 10. Okay, so already we can see that there's no Bijan Robinson coming to the Chargers in this particular mock draft. Okay, and what I want to do, especially with these first few initial mock drafts, I kind of want to see what the playing field looks like with the other 20 picks in front of us, because that can really dictate who's going to fall to pick 21 and the likeliness of one of the players that I want being available to the Chargers in the early 20s. So let's start things off here. This is Lewis's mock draft. This is also Jeremiah's mock draft 3.0. We might check that out too here in just a second. Here at pick number 1, we got Bryce Young, one of those obvious picks. I think the Carolina Panthers trading up to the number 1 spot. We're pretty obviously going to be looking for a quarterback, and I think a lot of us do believe Bryce Young could be the guy. Some people still do think CJ Stroud's not a bad option. There's even some people thinking they want the next Cam Newton and Anthony Richardson, which actually would be hilarious and I think would be kind of awesome for that football team. Either way, these are the right calls. You got yourself 2 quarterbacks going back-to-back to the Carolina Panthers and the Houston Texans. Could this be the next, Trevor Lawrence, the next Justin Herbert, the next Joe Burrow kind of class of quarterbacks? We'll have to wait and see. I do think that there's a lot of potential there. At number 3, the Arizona Cardinals are going to go with Will Anderson Jr. Of course, you're going to want to grab yourself a nice player in those top 3 picks, and I think the best edge in this class is going to get it done. Then followed by Anthony. This is where things start to get interesting to me. We're not going to go like super in detail. If you're one of those guys like, director, what do you think about the Cardinals getting Will Anderson? It's awesome, but I'm a Chargers YouTuber. We're going to kind of skim over a lot of these till we get to pick number 21. Anthony Richardson. This is where the draft gets kind of fun to me because I do think I'm starting to see Anthony Richardson to the Colts a little bit more lately, and that would be pretty fun, man. This franchise has needed a quarterback that they can groom, and they can. When's the last time they drafted a quarterback in the first round? Was it really Andrew Luck? I think they need a new guy out there, right? I think Anthony Richardson is one of those guys I'm super excited to see how he translates into the NFL. All right. Tyree Wilson going to the Seattle Seahawks. That'd be a pretty big steal right there. Jalen Carter, speaking of steals, would be huge for the Detroit Lions. Why is he dropping again? You guys have to remind me. I remember reading something about that not too long ago. He's been dropping. He was once projected like a top 3 pick. But Jalen Carter certainly would be an awesome selection there for the Detroit Lions. Devon Witherspoon, top corner in the draft, going to the Las Vegas Raiders. So one of our division rivals getting a little bit better in that secondary, which has been very, very bad. Devon Witherspoon would be a huge addition to that team. The Atlanta Falcons going Myles Murphy, who's starting to climb a little bit. I remember seeing Myles Murphy as one of those likely options to the Chargers at pick 21 if they wanted to go edge. It looks like that edge position is starting to climb, and that's something I do expect to see throughout the course of this month in mock drafts and in the real draft, because of course edge is a very premium position, and just because this draft class is pretty heavy with them, there's a lot of really good edges in this, especially in the first round kind of caliber guys. I don't know if that guarantees the Chargers will have one available at pick number 21. If there is, it's a really, I wouldn't say obvious choice, but a very smart choice to go edge in that case. But there are a lot available. And again, with so many quarterbacks going, with a lot of, maybe offensive talent needing to go before the Chargers, maybe we do get lucky and somebody falls to us at pick 21. But Myles Murphy will be a great addition. The Falcons, they need pass rushers like there's no tomorrow. That's definitely one of the top positions of need that they're going to have to address, as well as I think cornerback. Next up, Peter Skoronski going to the Chicago Bears. They need offensive linemen. What more can you say? They got themselves a Justin Fields. That really does need a little bit more help out there. Of course, he can scramble, but when he don't have to scramble is when magic happens. Next up, Philadelphia Eagles are going to be the team that picks up Bijan Robinson. Man, actually, I can kind of see that. Bijan Robinson to the Philadelphia Eagles. You match him up because, again, when a running back enters into a system that's got a quarterback that's mobile, not just mobile, but uses that mobility, is in a system that's built to use that mobility, it gives that running back a lot more space to operate, because all of a sudden those options, right, it really throws off a defense and then they can go kind of crazy. And if you got yourself a running back like Bijan Robinson, I know that they just got rid of Miles Sanders as well. If you get a Bijan Robinson to the Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, that's a great spot for him. That's a big, big offensive pickup for the Eagles there, too. And again, they would be right back in the conversation for, Super Bowl contention. I think Bijan is a great pick, a huge immediate first-year impact. Next up, Will Levis going to the Tennessee Titans, of course, looking to move on from Ryan Tannehill. I think that's not a bad pick there. There's some potential. A lot of people thinking that he could go to the Vegas Raiders. Houston Texans going to pick up Lucas Van Ness. Luke Van Ness finds a home with the Texans. You know what? Actually, that's a really nice first 2 picks. The first pick at quarterback, C.J. Stroud. You're getting yourself that face of the franchise and on offense, and then I think you can kind of find the same thing potentially in Van Ness on defense. Kind of seeing how he translates into the NFL. I think that would be a pretty big pickup for them. So far, just to kind of recap, a lot of quarterbacks, right? 3-4 quarterbacks taken in the top 15 picks. This is just going to push talent down to the Chargers, which is really nice. One offensive lineman, and of course, you're going to find some edge players. So far, so good. Next up at pick 13, we got Paris Johnson Jr., offensive lineman, going to the Jets. Of course, that's going to be a great pick if you have that pick. And also have Aaron Rodgers. Of course, even if they don't have Aaron Rodgers, that's a great pick. One of the top tackles, maybe the top tackle in this draft. That'd be a solid pickup for them. But we have to see what the Green Bay Packers want in exchange for Aaron Rodgers here coming up soon. Now, Christian Gonzalez, this guy might actually end up being the number 1 corner. It just kind of depends on who you ask between Christian Gonzalez and the Raiders selection, Devon Witherspoon. This is also a great selection there for that particular team. I think they've looked pretty good at corner for a long time. It might be a Belichick thing, but you certainly couldn't. It wouldn't hurt to grab a Christian Gonzalez from this draft class, which is pretty decent at corner. I'll say that. Broderick Jones, offensive lineman, going to the Green Bay Packers. The Packers once again not grabbing offensive weapons would be hilarious. I know that it's a smart pick, okay? And I feel like you have to draw a line in the sand sometimes between the smart pick and the pick that's good for your football team. And I don't know. Year in and year out, we see the Packers pass on offensive weapons. They pay for it. But still, Broderick Jones would be an awesome addition. You can never be. I don't know how they look at tackle, but Broderick Jones would certainly be a big add for that team if they're needed there. Joey Porter going to the Washington Commanders would be again another big add. I don't know. Porter to the Commanders kind of feels right. I know that the Steelers fans would probably not appreciate that, but I feel like that would be a good pick for them. Another corner off the board. That's 3 corners off the board before pick 21. The Steelers are going to take Darnell Wright, another offensive lineman, off the board. Of course, the Chargers not super needed offensive lineman, but there are plenty of teams that are before us. So, again, pushing talent down the board, not too bad. A good pickup for the Steelers. Detroit coming in with their second pick are going to take Dalton Kincaid. Oh, this is why we're doing live reactions, okay? I didn't know if Kincaid would be available to us IRL. I wanted to see what the playing field looked like, where he's going. I was like, there's a good shot that he makes it to 21. In our first mock draft, he is not available. Dalton Kincaid to the Detroit Lions. And again, this is a great pick by them. No matter what they're doing at quarterback, just having that guy that can develop over time with a new quarterback in the future, or even Jared Goff, he's going to be one heck of a weapon for them. Man, I was hoping he would make it to 21. So far, Bijan Robinson, Dalton Kincaid, 2 of my guys already off the board. A little bummed out about both of them, but let's see who falls to the draft. Who the Chargers end up picking up in this draft here, too. Nolan Smith, another one of my guys, falling off the board here at pick number 19, just a couple of picks before the Chargers. Of course, one of the best edge players in this class. A lot of talent at the top. Who knows how many are going to fall to the Chargers at 21. There's still a couple of pretty good ones available, but this is definitely one of my favorites, especially with how fast this guy was. Tampa Bay, everybody in the NFL could use a player like Nolan Smith. He'd be a great addition for anybody. Hendon Hooker coming in at quarterback. Wow. So just before the Chargers, Hendon Hooker drafted, so another quarterback. That's crazy. I mean, I know there's a lot of hype around him. There was the ACL tear, but there's a lot of hype that he's creeping back up into the first round. That would only be good for us. And again, I think this is a pretty intelligent choice for a team like Seattle, too, who just re-signed Geno. This gives Hendon some time to heal and get his NFL footing about him. That's a good pick, and it's also good news for the Chargers. All right, first mock draft where we're finally getting to the Chargers pick. I know we're taking our time with this. Let's have some fun with it, all right? The first pick to the Chargers here, pick number 21. The Chargers take Elijah Cansey. Wow, this is one where actually it could happen. I'm seeing him available in almost every mock draft. He's been falling. And, outside of Smith, I think Cansey is definitely the top defensive. There's not very many of them in this draft class either, guys. So this is something, again, did not see this coming. The Chargers, we've been terrible against the run. Cansey, maybe not the best run defensive lineman in this class, but he is sure a heck of an interior pass rusher. You pair him up, let's say, with Morgan Fox, even rotate. I think this guy could be a force out there. This is crazy. What did they say out here? The corner of the market, smaller than, definitely a smaller player, who's hailed from Pitt, Cansey's frame, 22-year-old. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't hate it, especially if he falls down there. I know he was projected to be like a top 15 guy, too, and the Chargers, who could use more help on that defensive line. We're all hoping to get a guy to maybe replace, Khalil Mack if we need to next season. Maybe, somebody else like a cornerback, maybe even, on defense. But, defensive line definitely doesn't hurt. Would I be upset with this pick? I will say this as a live reaction video. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I know it's a value. And I know that he would fit in very well this year with Bosa and Fox and Mack and all those guys in the defensive line. It would be pretty nasty, at least for this year. Next year, we'd have to wait and see what happens if everybody stays together. So that's crazy, though, man. Cansey to the Chargers. And again, this is a fall. He fell to 21. That's a pretty good player that you're picking up there, even though it's not one that a lot of us have thought about. That one's the first mock draft on the board. This one's definitely shocking. Okay, let's finish out this mock draft to kind of see maybe an idea of who would be available in the second round of the Chargers, potentially. JSN, wide receiver, going to the Ravens. Quentin Johnston, still available. Maybe would have been one of the guys I pick over Cansey, still available there as well. I don't think JSN makes it to pick 22, if I'm being honest. Maybe not even Johnston as well, but we have to wait and see how the board shakes out. But definitely wide receivers starting to fly off. Deonte Banks, another great corner off the board there. Jordan Addison, some people still saying the best wide receiver in this class. Zay Flowers, probably one of the best speedier options you're going to see in this class. Cody Mauch, Michael Mayer, Darnell Washington, some of my favorite tight ends still available there. That's crazy. Keon White. Okay, so I would expect, with most of the wide receivers off the board, I would say in the second round, the Chargers, there's some tight ends that I still really like there. They already have their edge, or they could still actually go defense in the second round. They could probably still grab an edge. What was his name? Was he still available down here? I don't think I saw him get drafted. No, there's still some edge players that they might be willing to go after. This guy Uzama, though, I was hoping that he'd make it to the second round. I think the Chargers have a shot at Ojulari, though. I think if they wanted to trade up in the second round, I wouldn't be mad about that. So there's your first reaction to the mock draft. The Chargers taking Kancey at pick number 21, trying to shore up the pass rush from the interior of that defensive line. I definitely don't hate it. I don't hate it. A lot of people say, again, strikingly similar to Aaron Donald. I would definitely not expect that kind of production, but that's certainly the archetype of player that you're getting, an interior defensive lineman that can really get at the quarterback. Is his run blocking amazing? No. But is it bad? Also, no. I think he's just fine. I think he's better than a lot of guys we have on the roster now. So, man, that's kind of crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad we did a live reaction because this is definitely not one that I would have seen coming. All right, next up. Let's go to, this is the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go to this one here. This is the Sports Illustrated mock draft. And again, this one, we're going to go through, we're going to fly through the first round a little bit more since we already kind of have an idea of what the first round sort of looks like from the last one. Again, you're going to see a lot of the same stuff. CJ Stroud, again, you're going to see these kind of flip-flop from quarterback. Stroud to the Panthers, Bryce Young to the Texans, flip-flop. Who knows what those guys are thinking right now. Will Anderson, again, Anthony Richardson to the Colts. Jalen Carter to the Seahawks. I think that's definitely a big possibility there. The Lions taking their defensive lineman Tyree Wilson, a very good player there. Raiders still going corner. So I think we can expect the Raiders to pick a corner in this one too if we're taking a look at our division. Witherspoon to the Falcons, who again needed corner. Chicago Bears take their tackle. Eagles take a tackle. Titans take JSN. This is around where I think he's going to go. I think JSN's going to be a top 15 pick. And I think this is going to start putting pressure on teams to grab their wide receivers. All right, so maybe that limits the availability of wide receivers to the Chargers at 21. Houston Texans are going to take Lucas Van Ness again. I think that's a pretty popular pick there. The Jets are going to take Will Levis. Dude, that's something kind of crazy. Especially if they still have Aaron Rodgers. How's that going to work out, right? I think they're just going to... I guess they'll let him sit behind Rodgers and learn, similar to what the Packers did with Jordan Love. That'd be kind of nuts. Patriots going to take Joey Porter. Again, saw it, another corner there to the Patriots. Packers going to take offensive lineman again. It really feels like the Packers need that offensive lineman if we're seeing it in so many mock drafts. I've also seen tight end to them quite a bit. We're actually seeing it right here too. Needs a tight end, outside linebacker, but it feels like they're more often than not going for that lineman. Commanders going Brian Branch. That's another name. Did we see Brian Branch in the last draft? No. Did he fall out of the first round? That's a player you maybe trade back into the first round for if you're the Chargers. Versatile corner. He's listed as a DB. Technically, he's a safety, but he's your slot guy. He's a star position guy. He's really good. Don't be shocked if Brandon Staley is crazy about this dude and does whatever it takes to get him, especially if he falls out of the first round. That'd be nuts. Steelers going to go Deonte Banks, solid corner to them. Lions at 18. Bijan Robinson. Dang it, I'm sitting here waiting for a mock draft for Bijan to be available at 21. I'll be bluntly honest with you guys. I'm still very much so on the Bijan Robinson bandwagon, even though I don't know if it's the most intelligent pick. I feel in my bones that he would be such a good player with this football team. He's going to go to the Lions. A great pick for them there. Did they lose Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift this season? I don't remember. I know they lost at least one of them. That would be a great pick for the Lions there. He'd be huge for that team. Nolan Smith once again going to the Buccaneers. Miles Murphy again. If he's available at 21, you got to maybe take a shot on him too, right? He's going to go just before us to the Seattle Seahawks. And here comes our second mock draft of the Chargers selections. The Chargers are going to take, once again, Kancey. Are you kidding me? Yo! That's crazy. 2 mock drafts in a row. Chargers fans, what do you feel about? How do you feel about this? Because I know the Chargers defensive line, we're going to have Austin Johnson. What, is it for one more season, right? So maybe he's gone next year. So then that defensive line, going into the future, at least for a couple of seasons, would be Morgan Fox, Sebastian Joseph Day, and Kalijah Kancey. That's nuts. Two guys out there thinking that we're going to pick up a Kancey. Crazy. And we already know my thoughts on that, so we don't have to go any deeper into it. Zay Flowers going just after us. Jordan Addison running wide receivers. Darnell Wright, Quentin Johnston, Adeborwe. I'm never going to pronounce that right. Torrance, also another really good pick. Dalton Kincaid falling all the way down to 28. And then Hendon Hooker making it into the first round again. And then Uzama to the Eagles. Okay. We got 2 Kansies. That's crazy. How do I feel about that? I'll be honest with you guys. Part of me is super excited about the idea of that. And the other part of me is like, it's not going to be another Jerry Tillery situation. At least I don't think it would be. But, a part of me is like, oh, man. With guys like, Banks and Addison and Flowers still on the board, Michael Mayer, would I be super stoked as a Chargers fan? I think I still would be excited to see what would happen, but I just don't know if that would be my pick. Now, really quick, I actually kind of wanted to go see Daniel Jeremiah's. I don't think I've seen his mock draft 3.0. He's kind of one of those dudes, right? Let's take a look at Jeremiah's real quick and see. Again, we're going to kind of fly through the first round. We kind of know what's going to be happening. Tyree, I'll kind of stop and see if I see anything kind of crazy. So far, so good. Murphy. Bijan going to the Patriots. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. If Kincaid gone at 16. Kancey going to the Lions. Which, again, Kansas not a bad player. I'm trying not to come off that way, but this is the live mock draft for a reason. I kind of want to see what my reaction would be. Zay Flowers. Maybe I did see this one. Zay Flowers to the Chargers. This was, again, there's something we've seen and something we kind of expect, right? Chargers getting that speed at wide receiver. Nobody could be mad about that. And again, Zay Flowers is not going to be Tyreek Hill, right? I mean, kind of, but he's not as fast. That doesn't mean you can't use him in similar fashions, though. This dude is crazy shifty. Agile is probably one of the most agile players in the NFL once drafted, right? I think he would be crazy. Even though he doesn't have the craziest 40 time, he is very, very fast, and he would be that weapon for the Chargers. So, all right. Let's move on to a last couple here. 3-round mock draft here. I love this website, by the way, Draft Network. We'll go pretty quick on this one. Maybe just kind of skip down to the Chargers here at pick 21. Nolan Smith going super high to the Arizona Cardinals. That'd be pretty cool there. Anything else kind of crazy? Zay Flowers going to the Packers. These guys get it. When are they going to draft wide receiver in the first round? Joey Porter, Paris Johnson, Bijan, once again going to the Detroit Lions. I'm starting to think Bijan's not going to make it to us at 21, man. Hendon Hooker. Wow, that's actually kind of crazy. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seattle's going to take Lucas Van Ness, and then the Chargers are going to take Dalton Kincaid here. I like it. And these are kind of you guys can kind of see where my bias is. I love Bijan Robinson. Zay Flowers, I would be super stoked for. The Chargers need the offensive firepower. I really do think that they want to take advantage of the years that they have with Kellen Moore. But Dalton Kincaid, again, just one of those players that I feel like it could be one of those defining duos in the NFL when all is said and done, right? As much as I love, Keenan Allen, Herbert to Keenan has only been manifested for a couple of seasons now, which has been amazing. But Herbert's going to be playing football a lot longer than Keenan Allen, at this point, right? He's going to be playing not just because he's a quarterback, but because Keenan's probably only got a couple more years left in the NFL before he hangs him up. And if you draft a tight end alongside a Justin Herbert, I feel like that could be the duo. What Rivers to Keenan, and let's say Rivers to more appropriately Gates was, I think Herbert could get his tight end in Herbert to Kincaid. I really do actually feel strongly about that. And that's why, to me, if we're going blindly into the dark with like preferences and biased, opinions, I love Bijan. I think he could be that guy for the Chargers. And I think between Kincaid and Mayer, it's going to be Kincaid for me as to that like reliable tight end for Justin Herbert going forward. And falling to 22, I think it would be a strong ad for the Chargers. Again, very fast. He's a wide receiver out there playing tight end. That would just be a nasty duo for a long time. Okay, so Draft Networks, I got this one pat down. Okay, so lastly, I think we got, a couple more here? And these are just Chargers mock drafts, okay? This one's coming in from Chargers Wire, chargerswire.com. Okay, great place. Great little beat writer website if you guys want more Chargers content. Okay, so round 1, they're going to take Jordan Addison, USC. This is kind of the stuff I was expecting to see, man. A lot of people, I don't know if we've softened on Jordan Addison. I don't know what the narrative in the NFL is around Jordan Addison. I think a lot of people are considering, Zay Flowers, wide receiver 1. Some people are saying it's maybe Jordan Addison. Some people saying Quentin Johnston. I'm of the belief that if you want the most complete wide receiver in this class, you're drafting Jordan Addison, right? He's not a burner. but he's fast, right? He's not slow. He's not like a crazy contested catch guy, but he's got mitts, right? He may end up being the best route runner in this entire class, right? He's just a very, very, very good, complete wide receiver that could step potentially into the shoes of a Keenan Allen into the future. So I wouldn't be upset with this pick at all. Maybe not the number one wide receiver to a lot of people, but believe me, this guy would make a huge impact with this team this year. And I think it would be a very incredibly wise decision to make to help the Chargers in the future as well, that wide receiver group. I like it a lot. Next up at pick 2, in round 2, they're going to take Derek Hall. This is where we're getting to the second round, man. This is where things get exciting. Derek Hall out of Auburn. This guy would be really nice, man. He's got the prototypical size that you want out of the edge position. Very, very nice. Again, this would be a guy that you can play across from Joey Bosa, in the coming years. Khalil Mack. I think Derek Hall actually would... He's not going to be Khalil Mack out there. Absolutely not. But I think he could play in a similar manner, right? I think Derek Hall would be a great pick in the second round. Especially if you're trying to fix your books, and unfortunately we have to move on from Khalil Mack next season. I think Hall would be awesome. Is he even going to be available in the second round? I don't know. But that's a good pick for the Chargers. I like it quite a bit. What do they say here? Strength, length, explosiveness, violent hands. Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it absolutely a lot. So let's go here into the third round. The Chargers select Luke Schoonmaker out of Michigan. Great tight end prospect. Was this guy? This guy was more of the blocker, right? I actually don't remember. No more. Yeah, for his blocking skills. That's definitely not a bad option here, especially with the tight end class looking as good as it is, and maybe Trey McKinney not panning out as well as you were hoping. I think Schoonmaker would make an awesome tight end 3 going forward, especially with that blocking ability. The Chargers, I don't know how much they value blocking from their tight end, but every team needs to have at least one as an option out there if you want to run 2-set or whatever. So I like that quite a bit. And lastly, in the fourth round, the Chargers select Christopher Smith, safety out of Georgia. A lot of people in our live mock draft like this guy quite a bit. And again, sneaky need for the Chargers is going to be safety. And it continues to be a sneaky need to this day. I don't know why in the world we haven't grabbed John Johnson III yet. But until that day, I think the Chargers should absolutely be mocked a safety at some point in the draft. Christopher Smith, a lot of people seem to like this guy quite a bit. Speed, range, toughness is what they're saying here. I remember reading up a little bit on this guy, and I do think, again, so long as the guy can maybe play in a pinch, let's say at free safety, right? Let's say Derwin is swapping out in there. Let's say Alohi Gilman's swapping out of there. I do expect to see a little JT Woods if we don't get a John Johnson. If you can swap this guy in and out, I think I'd be pretty happy with that. So this mock draft I'm actually pretty cool with. I like the Jordan Addison pick a lot. I like the Derek Hall pick a lot in the second round. I don't know if he'll be available there. And then a couple of solid playmakers here. I at least should say difference makers in terms of what he can provide in blocking and what he can provide in coverage. I think would be pretty sick. Here's a 3-round mock draft coming in from PFF. I think they broke it down by division. Here's the AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs, Las Vegas Raiders. And I'm going to try and go a little slow here so I don't spoil it for myself. Here come the Chargers. Pick 1, they're going to get Zay Flowers, right? Zay Flowers. All right, let's just go. Let's take the whole thing here. Zay Flowers. Again, speedy wide receiver. Great selection. We kind of talked about what his contribution would be to the team this year. Not too bad. Sidney Brown in the second round. Again, until we get John Johnson, safety is going to be a big need for this team, and Sidney Brown would actually be a pretty sick player to get in the second round. The dude's pretty dang physical, right? I think he may have had issues with tackling, but this guy's kind of everywhere. He's a versatile safety as well, so he's one of those players that would sync very well with the Chargers defensive system. I like it a lot. Then finally, in linebacker, you got Dorian Williams in the third round, which again, this is a guy that I've been mocking in the third round a lot. The Chargers, they just picked up an Eric Kendricks. They're going to need a guy for the future, though, because Kendricks is pretty old, and then Dorian Williams is probably one of the best coverage linebackers you're going to find in this class. I think a third-round pick is certainly not a bad idea to try and cover your butt in that position. And finally, we're going to go here to Walter Football. Draft report for the Chargers. Again, I don't know how much time I spent on this particular site, but I've seen it floating around. Let's see what they say. Pick 21. The Chargers are going to select Myles Murphy. Let's actually make this a little bit bigger here. Can we do that? They're not going to let us do that. Okay, so I'll read it out to you guys. For you, way in the back, Chargers pick up, there we go, Myles Murphy, defensive end out of Clemson. And again, this is where I was thinking he might be available to the Chargers at 21. And this would be actually a really nice pick for the Chargers at 21, especially if you're looking to kind of help yourself out in that pass rush, right? So Myles Murphy, very, very nice. I think he would be kind of a steal at pick 21 as well, kind of depending on what you're looking for. So they got Walt's mock and they have Charlie's mock as well. So Charlie's going to pick up Michael Mayer, which is also very exciting. You know, we talked a lot about Dalton Kincaid, but Michael Mayer too, dudes. It's so different in what they can do, but I still think both of them could potentially be that guy for Justin Herbert, just kind of in different ways. Michael Mayer is going to be more of that possession guy, right? He's going to be more of that guy that goes in there and is contending for, but you can toss it up very similar to the way you would a Mike Williams, right? And more often than not, he's going to come down with it. Very reliable. He's just not very fast, right? He's not very fast at all, but he does provide excellent blocking in the run game. So you can almost see it as he'd be helping Justin Herbert in providing better blocking lanes for his running back, thus strengthening the running game, thus strengthening the passing game, thus helping out Justin Herbert, while also providing that target for Justin Herbert at tight end. So I like that quite a bit in the first round. We have a second round here. Pick 23. Cedric's going to take, Chargers going to take Cedric Tillman, wide receiver from Tennessee. If I'm being honest, I don't know if I've looked much into Tillman. Montreal built receiver who had breakout 21 campaign. Okay. I mean, definitely not bad. Chargers going to have a need at wide receiver. This guy's going to take here Clark Phillips, cornerback out of Utah. That definitely wouldn't be a bad idea, grabbing yourself a corner in the second round. And then here in the third round, maybe it's just Walter Football having a tough time as far as the website. Mekhi Gardner. This would be an excellent slide. I like this guy a lot, too, out of LSU. Another corner for the Chargers in the third round. I think I like the guy's measurables quite a bit. I don't remember why he wasn't quite as high. I think he's got maybe a little cleaning up to do in his execution, but really good instincts is like what we're saying here, too. And then Sidney Brown's going to be the pick for this guy here. Which, again, we talked about him. He would be a great spot there. And then finally, we got this is where I would feel more comfortable taking a defensive lineman, by the way. Here are the Chargers in the fourth round. Ajomo, definitely a nice player. This defensive line class is certainly not as good as it's been in years past, but there's still some guys that you can get in there, especially for depth. Similar with the way that we saw the upside for Tito with the Chargers. I think Ajomo would be a very nice pickup there while not taking too big of a risk in the early round. So that's what I'm feeling. So all in all, I think this was a successful experiment because I was trying to get my raw reaction to a lot of these situations, right? And I think the first situation that kind of threw me off was all this Kancey talk, right? And I think my genuine reaction to Kancey would be it's a good value, right? In terms of where he should be drafted a lot higher. He's got that Aaron Donald style of play, which is certainly exciting. But I don't know if my reaction was as strong for Kancey. Then there was reactions to guys like Kincaid, which of course I would love. There was reactions to guys like Zay Flowers, which we've talked a lot about needing speedy wide receiver. I would love that. And then these mock drafts, you know, we've seen wide receiver a lot. I think honestly, if you can get a guy like Zay Flowers, Quentin Johnson, I think that would make a big difference for and even Jordan Addison. I think that would make a big difference for the Chargers now going forward. So I think wide receiver is a very strong possibility. I think edge may be one of the top possibilities that you see because of this draft class. But tight end, man, I just don't know. With the way that with the kind of skill we're seeing at 21, it'd be very tough for me to pass up on the possibility of getting Justin Herbert's guy pretty much for the rest of his career. Because both of those positions age pretty gracefully into their mid-30s. So, especially quarterback, you can play for a long time. So, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think of these. Reaction to the mock draft. Certainly some things threw me off, but at the same time, it's nice to get an idea of what the playing field looks like. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And we'll see what happens, man. Draft coming up in a couple weeks. Of course, we're going to have that big live mock draft. Should be a lot of fun. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And also keep an eye out for the giveaway. I think it's going to be wrapping up here in the next week and a half or so. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you like what you saw here, hit us up with the like and sub on your way out. We'll see you next time. As always, both up and stay frosty. Kancey, man. I think I could talk myself into it.